Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Warehouse, a Speaking of show on WFSU. I'm your host, Josh Johnson, and today we have yet again another incredible another incredible guest. Freudian slip. Camille Lewis, the founder and CEO of Earth's Garden, a local everything to sustainability, um, environmental issues. And what brings you here today, we're going to talk about a lot with you today, Camille, but what brings you here today, the most exciting bit of news that we have is that you will be kicking off your fourth annual Tallahassee Earth Day Festival. Let's talk about that a little bit. When is it? Where is it? And what would you like the folks to know about it?
Yes, thank you, Josh, for having me on the show. So, the fourth annual Tallahassee Earth Day Festival will take place on April 19th, which is Saturday, the Saturday before Easter. And it will be at The Hole, which is located at 3030 South Adams Street by the post office on the south side. And the Tallahassee Earth Day Festival is a really exciting event that is centered around environmentalism, sustainability, agriculture, and experiential education for youth and community members. So we will have um, artists performing, we'll have the Raw Band, we'll have Griffin coming out and perform, we'll have Brownsville Preparatory Institute coming out and doing the song. We'll have a lot of hands-on educational booths from various community organizations here. We'll have free giveaways. We'll have live music. We'll have a good time. Food vendors, all of it.
Before we get into the weeds, I think it should just be acknowledged how wonderful a space the whole is to do events like this and any type of outdoor event, really. It is really just an ideal space, the way it kind of cascades down and all the vendors are there. Has it just been a cool thing to have in that particular space?
Yeah, so I grew up down the street from the Hole. I
Oh,
grew
yeah.
up on the south side of Tallahassee,
Uh-huh.
and we would, run around there as youth. But it is one of my favorite places in Tallahassee. The St. Mark's Trail goes right behind it, so you can
Hmm.
go from the Hole directly to the St. Mark's Trail. You have a beautiful lake that has fish that we would fish in. Khufu has built, he has goats out there. He has a garden out there. He's building a greenhouse out there. So it's a cultural center, and it's a staple of the south side of Tallahassee. And the individual who owns it, Khufu, has just done amazing work, in the past 40 years in
Sure.
Tallahassee. He's really one of the runners and shakers when it comes to community work.
The mechanics of an event this big year after year, whether it's the Tallahassee Film Festival or the Tallahassee Hispanic Theater, people that put on big festivals, a question that I always have to ask them is how much goes into the nuts and the bolts and the coordinating and the vendors, and is it something that you start planning as soon as the current one is over for next year?
It is. We take a couple weeks off to breathe and say congratulations. And we have a small but mighty team that is behind the Tallahassee Earth Day Festival. So our co-host is Citizens for a Sustainable Future, Dr. Bruce Strobel.
Hmm.
And then we've just put together a really powerful team of volunteers that come out. We work with so many organizations that do so much to help coordinate it. But it is a year-long planning for the event, but it's worth every second we put into it.
The Tallahassee Earth Day Festival is really, if we're being honest, an extension of some of the work that you do, anyways. You have always been a pioneer and a proponent of farming, gardening, sustainability. Talk to me about those things a little bit. How does farming and how we honor the land play into your work?
Absolutely. So me and my father co-own a small organic farm on the south side of Tallahassee, right by FAMU.
Hmm.
I've grown food my entire life, and it's been something that's kind of been ingrained in our family. And it's something that I have the opportunity to share both in my personal and my professional life. So I work with a lot of schools and organizations, teaching agriculture education, encouraging sustainability. I work with Citizens for a Sustainable Future. We have a summer camp and a Saturday school camp where we encourage students to go outside and learn about environmental justice and just enjoy being outside. But farming, food, you know, the joy of being outside is the core of everything that we do. There's a scholar by the name of Chris Omni who has a dissertation. Her dissertation was titled Black Joy in Green Spaces. And I work with a lot of youth in Tallahassee, and we really try to embody that Black joy in green spaces is having youth of all ages and colors and ethnicities find the joy and the beauty and the power of going outside, being outside, interacting with the environment, growing your own food, and all the many benefits that come from that.
I've heard you say in the past during lectures that you've given that there is a trauma, and it might just be a social trauma or a generational trauma associated with Black folk in this country and an agrarian way of life, because so often it can be conflated or situationally placed on the back of American slavery. Is that something that you've dealt with, kind of softening the veil on, or just ripping the veil off completely?
Yeah, I think sometimes the veil needs to be ripped off, and sometimes it can be softened, and they can be eased into nature. It's not uncommon, both with children and adults. So we work with adults, and I've had adults tell me when we're with children, like, I'm not going out into that water. It's fish in that water. I don't swim. We don't go out. Like, why are we going in the woods? Why are we in this hot sun toiling over the land? But I think the inspiration I get is particularly working with children is you're able to really heal some of that trauma by being outside. So the land, because of enslavement, has invoked trauma in Black people, but the land can also be healing. And there's a healing aspect to being outside, being by the water, being in the river, that I think is spreading at a higher rate than the trauma is spreading now. So we're really at a point in history where Black people are reconnecting with the land and remembering, its purpose and its healing powers.
Let's talk about a word that I hear used so often, but never really get to delve into: environmental literacy. What does this mean to you, your mission, your work, and all the things that you do? What is environmental literacy?
So environmental literacy, we think about understanding the who, what, when, where, and why of the environment. Where is the environment situated? What's in it? How do we study it in a way that we can improve it? But more importantly, what is my connection to it? So when we teach about environmental justice and we teach about climate change, there's a term that I've heard floating around called climate anxiety. So oftentimes, at least when I was younger, I would have older people say to me, we messed the world up. It's up to you to fix the world. Like, the world we have climate change, we have hurricanes and snow in Tallahassee, and the world is messed up. But the hope is in you. The hope is, you are the future. And we try not to share that perspective. And instead, what we try to focus on is if we can get young children or just people in general to love the environment, to understand how the environment works, to understand what causes what, and to really appreciate it. If you love something, you're going to naturally take care of it. So our perspective is, let's expose the beauty of being outside in the environment and ways it can be taken care of, and then individuals will naturally take care of it in the future.
Absolutely. And the individual approach is something that has always interested me about it. Because I've heard you say this before too. If you can feed yourself, you can free yourself. And it's kind of like a quote that I live by. One of the many, Saint Seraphim of Sarov says, the person that frees themselves frees 1,000 others, right? Just the act of engaging in something that makes you more sustainable and you more sufficient, you make those around you more sustainable and more sufficient, whether it's teaching them how to do it, whether it's showing them how to do it, or whether it's letting them reap the benefits of your labor. And this community is really just reaping the benefits of your labor, whether it's with the Tallahassee Earth Day Festival. As a matter of fact, congratulations. As I'm thinking about it, you are one of the newly minted inductees into the Sherry Alexander TSC Black History Calendar.
Yes, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. How's that experience been?
It's been great. It's the work I do in the community. I was given so much as a child. The community gave me and poured into me when I was a youth and even now, and I may not be able to pay back everybody that poured into me, but I can pay it forward. So it's always an honor to be recognized for the work that I do in the community because I do it because I love Tallahassee. I love the youth in Tallahassee, and I'm passionate about my mission. But it's always good to feel appreciated.
Absolutely. You bring up my favorite word. That's what this show's about. It's art and it's cultural, but broader than that, it's community based, right? And community is a broad word too. And so that means a lot. What does it mean to you? And what does it mean for the work that you do? Community.
Community is the
Hmm.
center of the work that I do. We try to ask the community, what do you need? And then we try to provide that service. So Earth Day came out of a lot of conversations where I had where individuals wanted to learn certain skills, but there was no place to learn it. At the Earth Day Festival, we have Compost Community come and lead composting workshops. We have Smarter by Nature and Verde Bites come and lead cooking workshops with organic produce. We have individuals teaching about agriculture and clean energy and solar and all these like ideas that you want to learn about, but you don't have a place to learn about.
Mm.
And then a lot of the work that I do, not just the Tallahassee Earth Day Festival, but the youth programming, the agriculture, is really born out of what does the community need and how can I support or give back to my community. So it's all centered, it's informed by, and it's for. It's FUBU.
For us, by us. Let me ask you this. You kind of mentioned that the Earth Day Festival in itself acts as a clearinghouse, allowing people to access things and learn about things that they might not necessarily have access to. I've always thought that that's the greatest form of education is exposure, right? Not just teaching somebody something, but showing them where to find it themselves or bringing in other people to give them access to those resources. As you move forward in your work, but in with the Tallahassee Earth Day Festival in particular, do you want these resources to grow? Are you always identifying new needs? Are you finding out that some of the needs that you were dealing with are things that people have a grasp on, and so you can move on from? What does that look like? Plugging people into resources.
So the more resources, the better. I would like for us to take a regional approach.
Mm.
We've been very Tallahassee centered, but we've been attracting attendees from all over North Florida, all over South Georgia. So really expanding the breadth of the resources that we can provide to the community. And then continuing to address the needs of the community. So what are some issues or topics or concepts that the community would like to learn about, and how can we incorporate that in? So there's always a feedback dialogue with festival attendees to figure out what did you like this year, what can we add on next year. So we'll have a lot more animals
Hmm.
this year. We're going to have some livestock out there because individuals wanted to learn more about animals.
I love it. As somebody who doesn't have a green thumb, index finger, or pointer finger,
Oh, wait,
if
that's not true. It's in your DNA.
okay, okay. Well, my next question is thank you for the vote of confidence, but I also have let so many people down. I have no problem adding another one on the list. I cannot grow anything, but maybe I can learn, which is what I'm trying to do now. If there was a novice that was just approaching the field of agriculture, what are some of the easiest things to start with, start planning?
I would say the easiest plant might be mint. So
Mm.
getting a pot, getting some potting soil, and getting a mint plant. We have great nurseries here. Native Nurseries is probably one of my favorite. Tallahassee Nurseries, Esposito's. Starting with seedlings or
Hmm.
small plants opposed to seeds just increases your chance of survival of that particular plant. But we are going into spring, and spring crops, tomatoes, peppers, squash, cucumbers, okra. So all of those crops can be planted right now, and as long as you have a sunny place outside, you can be pretty successful. The other thing is Tallahassee is uniquely positioned because of the universities here to have a plethora of education for individuals who are interested in growing. So we have the IFIS Center, who'll be at the Tallahassee Earth Day Festival, great resource. The Lola Hampton Frank Pender Center for Agroecology at FAMU has a lot of information on organic growing. They'll be at the Tallahassee Earth Day Festival. FAMU Extension Another great resource is they will be at the Tallahassee Earth Day Festival. The What Color Environmental Institute has a urban farming course that individuals can participate in. They will be at the Tallahassee Earth Day Festival. So there are a lot of resources of institutions, organizations, and individuals locally that will help support you in your growing journey.
Absolutely. Speaking of journey, that's a perfect segue into my next question, because an interchangeable word for journey, in my life, anyways, has been mission. And you seem to be an extremely mission based person. What is that mission? What is your mission? If you could have it your way, what would that be?
My mission would be twofold.
Hmm.
It would be to teach individuals and families how to grow their own food. I am a proponent of a local food system. I do not think we need to rely on farms nationwide, worldwide to ship into our community. We have the capacity and the skills and the resources to provide food for our own local community. So, number one would be to teach individuals and families how to grow their own food. Number two would be to cultivate Black joy in green spaces. So, I love working with children. I'm a teacher by trade, and the joy that youth have when going outside. My mission is to continue to cultivate that joy.
You have cultivated several things that we can see. The first one, or I should say, the most cosmetic and obvious one, is an incredible Earth Day Festival. And I have been to, if this is the fourth annual, I have been to three of the four. Not only every year does it grow, you can see that growth in real time. People talk about it more. And it is just such an honor to have somebody that not only gives what grows out of space, but to create space. And you have really created space. In the vein of creating space, do you have any future ambitions in this same vein, or would you just like for this movement to grow larger?
I would like for this movement to grow larger. I would like for every school in Tallahassee to have a garden program, an agriculture program. I would like for every church in Tallahassee to have a garden or a farm. And I would like for the government to be actively behind some of the sustainability efforts and initiatives that are going around Tallahassee. But aside for that, I just want everybody to grow their own food and enjoy being outside and take care of the environment.
You mentioned spring earlier. As the flora and the fauna wake up from a season of sleep and we can see all the benefits of last season's planting, I want you to know that one of the greatest benefits of last season's plantings have been you and your work in this community. Thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything else that you would like the folks at home to know?
If you are interested in learning more about the Tallahassee Earth Day Festival, you can visit us at www.tallahasseeearthdayfestival.com. We are also on social media on Instagram at Tallahassee Earth Day Festival. And I look forward to seeing everybody out there.
And we look forward to seeing you too. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Warehouse, a Speaking Of show on WFSU. See you next time. Bye-bye.